Before we get into today's video, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope everybody's doing good starting off their 2023. We're still getting rolling. I'm going to keep saying this for the first 6 months because this has got to be better than last year. It's got to be better than last year, right? Right. Okay, so in today's video, this is something I started seeing this kind of going viral on Instagram a while back, and then I went to researching it. There was not a lot of information out, but the stuff that I could find along with the videos and the calls to the dispatchers was just so mind-blowing I had to share with you guys. But before we get into it though, I do want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon is for 18 and up. Over there, we talk about more personal story times. We go live over there. It's a good time if you're 18 and up and you'd like to join. There's also a $2 tier over there where all the true crime stuff that cannot go to YouTube due to their terms and policies, that all goes over there, as well as I have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Snapchat, and those are always linked down in the description box if you'd like to come and check me out. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about a couple that were in the middle of a lengthy divorce battle. Some of y'all have been there, right? Not fun. Not even if you are both like splitting amicably. It's not fun. There is a lot that goes into people getting divorced, and most of the time it causes some sort of friction between the two people, the couple, and it's just awful. It sucks. It's hard. However, this couple who goes by the names of, and I'm going to pronounce these the best that I can, I mean, no disrespect, Chae, who was in his early 50s, and Young Ann, who was in her early 40s, were going through a lengthy divorce battle in the court system in the state of Washington. This was not like a kosher divorce situation between the two. Allegedly, according to documentations, Mr. Ann was infuriated at the fact that he was going to have to give his wife any money. Now, they allegedly had 2 children together, and they were 20 years old and 11 years old. Now, the cops had been called out to their house multiple times for disturbances before, and it all seemingly ended up being with Mrs. Ann being a victim of some sort of situation pertaining to her husband. But nevertheless, it seemed like Mrs. Ann did everything that she could to make him happy, keep things kosher. Even when he moved out of the house, she was allowing him to come back to the house once a week to do laundry and be around the kids. She held her tongue about things around the kids. You know these types of stories, right? We've heard these types of stories before. However, something super strange happened, and on October 16th of 2022, when Mrs. Ann returned home from church, she unexpectedly found her ex-husband there. So she sent the children away and sat down to speak with him about their divorce. Now, this is when he allegedly got super upset and said that he would rather end her, than to ever pay her a dime of his retirement money or give her any money, which is just so sad that he told her that. However, she knew that he meant business and that he would do it, but she was still just trying to get by. Now, the cops actually ended up being dispatched to their house that day at around 1 p.m. when a 911 phone call came in, and the sound of the person, it sounded like a woman, like with a muffled scream. She was trying to get through. She was just, it was hard for the dispatcher to understand.
911, what are you reporting? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? What started you?
So the cops arrive at the house. They get to the house and there's nobody there. They could tell that there was some sort of disturbance, but there's nobody there. A few minutes later, the two kids arrive back at the house. The kids, again, are 20 years old and 11 years old. Now, when the cops began speaking to the two children, they told them, hey, we went to church with our mom. We got back home. Our dad was here. He comes here once a week to do laundry. No big deal. The kids did not seem like concerned at all. As the cops began to look more into it, because they could not find the woman that they heard on this 911 phone call to figure out if she was okay or where this was coming from, and now all of a sudden the mom is disappeared in the house and the dad is not there either. This is when they looked in the system and found that in 2021, just the previous year from this situation happening, 911 had been dispatched out to the house and there was a DV situation, and later a protective custody affidavit, which is basically a restraining order, was filed against the husband by the state so he couldn't come back, and there was an arrest warrant put out for him. They also found, though, that Mrs. Ann, the wife, would later go down to the courthouse and drop everything and try to get the restraining order put off. She probably told him, the whole, we've got kids together, there can't be a restraining order, it's a miscommunication, and there ain't no telling what he told her to get her to go down there and say that, which is just so sad, and we hear about these situations all the time. So when the cops saw this, they knew something was up. Okay, this is weird. There's obviously something went on in the house. They could tell there was a disturbance. Maybe things were knocked over, whatever. She's missing, he's missing. The kids are cool, calm, and collected. Obviously, it was kept from them, whatever happened. And a 911 phone call came in where somebody sounded muffled or gagged. This is when the cops started trying to look at surveillance footage at the neighbors' homes. And after looking at the surveillance footage, a bulletin was put out for both Young and Chae. In one of the videos, the van that he was driving can be seen passing the officer that was responding to Young's 911 phone call. Hours later, at around 1 a.m. on Monday, October 17th, Young reappeared outside of a random home and was hiding behind the shed on the property. When the police responded to a 911 phone call from the residents saying that they saw somebody basically ducked down and hiding in a bush somewhere. When Young realized the deputy was law enforcement, she sprinted at them, screaming and crying for help. She grabbed onto the deputy and frantically said, "My husband is going to kill me." The police said that when they saw Young, she was covered in bruises. She had duct tape around her face, her neck, her arms, her ankles. She was covered in dirt. She was obviously frantic, panicked, and scared. They were trying to calm her down to figure out what happened. Later that day, when she could somewhat come to her bearings and breathe and talk about it, she gave a full statement to the police of what she said happened. According to Young, her and her soon-to-be ex-husband argued over their divorce and money when she asked him to just leave. When she asked him to leave, this is when she said that he jumped on her. She said that he punched her in the head before throwing her to the ground. She said that after he threw her to the ground, this is when he jumped on her and duct taped her eyes, her head, her hands behind her back, her ankles. Can you imagine how terrified she was? While she was laying on the ground, completely restrained, she had an Apple Watch on. She was able to some way, somehow call 911 with her Apple Watch, and that is when you hear the muffled screaming of the 911 phone call. When he came back into the room, though, he realized she had called 911. He ripped her watch off, took a hammer, and destroyed it. Now, a security camera across the street from their home sees him getting into his van and storming out the driveway. But still, you can't really see her being put into the van at this point. But she told the cops that when he pulled his van into the garage more, this is when he put her in there. So these neighbors across the street are literally getting home from a regular old Sunday afternoon, probably went to church, went to, the Waffle House or whatever, got lunch, coming home, birds are chirping, whistling, and the neighbor across the street is on camera pulling his van into the doggone garage and putting his bound wife into the van. Now, when he gets her into the van, he shuts the van and he speeds out and he passes the police that's responding to this Apple Watch 911 phone call, which I don't understand why the police didn't turn around. He probably thought about it because he probably thought, why is he speeding? But then again, he was on his way to respond to that call. I don't know. Nevertheless, he sped past the cops, and that's when the cops arrived at the house and was talking to the kids. He ended up driving her to this wooded area. You guys can't imagine how scared she had to have been. He drives her to a wooded area. He drags her out. She can't see anything. She's hearing, but her eyes are covered. This is when he stabs her in her breast with some sort of sharp object. And she's laying there on the ground, and she can hear digging. He's digging a grave. Then she said he placed her body into this shallow grave. It is later said to have been about 19 inches deep, so he probably got tired of digging, but nevertheless, puts her in the grave, covers her with dirt, and puts a giant tree on top of her to hold her down. Like, wow. Mrs. Ann said that she laid there, tried to get out for a couple hours, and she truly believed that was it. That was the end of her life. She was going to die there. She could not get out. But some way, somehow, she ended up wiggling and getting out. After she got out and she was freed from the duct tape and stuff, this is when she started trying to run. When she got up and started moving, this is when she sees her ex-husband's van still in eyesight, like he was there watching. She saw that the windows were steamed up, so she booked it the other way. When the police were able to find the location that Young described being at, this is when they realized that she was in this 19-inch deep hole consistent with a grave-type design. And they also found the duct tape and hair consistent with the victims. Young told the police that her husband would often tell her that he would end her when he was angry, but she never thought that he actually would. Now, he was later arrested. He was sitting in his vehicle, and this was about 6 hours later, and he's currently being held without bond and faces charges of attempted first-degree murder and first-degree DV and a bunch of other charges. Now, his public defender suggests that his client, who is a veteran, might have some service-related mental health conditions that will end up being addressed probably later on. However, in a court victim's advocate, a statement was read from Young pleading for the judge to deny bail. In this statement, Young said, "I am really afraid for my life, and I fear him so much that he is going to really hurt me if he gets out." Now, after the incident, Young was seen coming out of a grocery store buying Halloween candy. It appeared that she was still recovering from the incident. And it is so sad, you guys, to see this video of her. It makes me want to just cry. See this video of her limping out. She did nothing wrong. I feel so bad for her. And even if he did has issues, PTSD from serving in the military or whatever, that is no reason to do what he did. And he specifically told her he would rather end her than to give her his retirement money. So sad, so scary, so devastating. If that's what happened when she left him, I could only imagine what she went through in the marriage. And I like doing these stories every now and then too, because it is a testament that if you are in these situations, get out. You're not doing anybody any favors by staying in these type of situations. Get out. We've talked about this before. The two things that I have heard are typically the most scary things that cops deal with is coming up on a DV situation and sometimes just traffic stops, because you never know what you're going to pull over. But the DV situations, those can end in very scary ways for everybody involved. And this is just so sad. I cannot imagine how traumatized she is, but at least she knows when he's locked up that she's safe and she can sleep at night. But if he was to get out on bail, I can't imagine. So what do you guys think? Have y'all heard about this? I hope the kids are okay. I hope they're okay. I'm glad that she's finally gained the strength to say no more. However, it took a lot, right? It took a lot for her to finally get to this point. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I will update you on this when he does go to trial and let you guys know what happened. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.